Welcome to the Incorporated Village of Hempstead for our 2023 State of the Village address. Ladies and gentlemen, and all viewing parties, let us now prepare for our invocation, presented unto us by Pastor Isadora Branch of the Jackson Memorial AME Zion Church.
Let us pray. We give you thanks, O Lord, for this opportunity that you have given us to come together to listen to our mayor share the state of the village of the Incorporated Village of Hempstead. Thank you, Lord, for keeping us safe, and we ask, O God, that you would be with us now in this session. Open up our minds and our hearts to hear the message, that we might grow, that we might grow together, that we might be encouraged to help make this village, continue to make this village a better place. We thank you. We thank you for our mayor. We ask your continued blessings upon him. This we ask in thy name. Amen.
We're now asking if all would please stand as we now prepare to receive the posting of the colors by our Hempstead Police Department color guards. As you remain standing, let us now prepare for the Pledge of Allegiance. Such will be presented unto us by Miss Aida Guerrera, 9th grader, Hempstead High School.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As you remain standing, let us receive Miss Kaylee Parker, senior here at the Sacred Heart Academy, as she presents unto us our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets
You may be seated, please. And now let us receive greetings, the Incorporated Village of Hempstead, by our esteemed Deputy Mayor, Jeffrey Daniels.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 2023 State of the Village Address for Mayor Waylyn Hobbs. I'd like to thank everybody from coming out tonight. We really appreciate the use of the facilities here at Sacred Heart Academy, as we did last year at Hofstra University. As you can see, there are great institutions here within the Village of Hempstead, so I hope all feel welcome. And remember, it's a great day in the Village of Hempstead. Thank you.
And now let us receive the welcome from the Sacred Heart Academy, Mrs. Kristen Lynch Graham, president here at Sacred Heart Academy.
Thank you so much. On behalf of our entire community, it's a pleasure to welcome you to Sacred Heart Academy and to host this evening's event. We want to extend a special welcome to Mayor Hobbs, distinguished guests, and our dear neighbors. Welcome to Sacred Heart. Sacred Heart is an all-girls Catholic high school sponsored by the Sisters of St. Joseph. Our 750 students live all across Long Island, and many of them live right here in the village of Hempstead. They make contributions to our community on a regular basis, most recently decorating the windows of the Hempstead Library. So if you haven't seen that, please make some time to visit that. And making civic contributions like our senior Kaylee Palmer, who was not only singing here tonight, but was starting out to do another singing of the national anthem over in Malvern. So we're exceptionally proud of our students, as well as our 12,000 alumni who live and work all across the world, but many of whom work right here in the village of Hempstead. So we want to extend a special welcome to our alumni and any guests of our families, prospective and current students who are here. Whether you've never been inside of Sacred Heart, driven past it many times but never come in, or whether you're returning after many visits, we welcome you and we invite you to learn more about Sacred Heart Academy. We're delighted to have you here tonight at Sacred Heart. A very warm welcome to all.
And now for the recognition of dignitaries and special guests shall be presented unto us by Mrs. Angela Stanley, Assistant to the Board of Trustees.
Good evening, and thank you for being here with us this evening. Tonight, I have the honor and pleasure of recognizing some of our dignitaries and special guests who are in attendance. So when I call your name, if you can just briefly stand and wave. Deputy Mayor Jeffrey Daniels, Trustee Kevin Boone, Trustee Clarona Griffith, Trustee Noah Burrows, former Mayor Don Ryan, Wayne Hall Jr. on behalf of New York State Assemblywoman Taylor Darling, Stevens Martinez, Nassau County Regional Representative for Governor Hochul, Fayola Charlotte on behalf of District Attorney Ann Donnelly, the Honorable Judge Maxine Broderick, the Honorable Judge Brianna Vaughn, our department heads, supervisors, and employees of the Incorporated Village of Hempstead, please stand. Our clergy community, please stand. From the Hempstead Union Free School District, Lamont Johnson, Vice President. Dr. Joylette Williams, Trustee. Regina Armstrong, Superintendent. Susan Polzer, President at Hofstra University. Barbara Powell, President of the NAACP Hempstead Branch. Wilma Holmes Tootle, President of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, Long Island Chapter. Laura Harding, President of Erase Racism. Teresa Sanders, President of the Urban League of Long Island. Deborah Santiago, President of the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated Theta Iota Omega Chapter. Belinda Watkins, President of the Hempstead Chamber of Commerce. George Ciberon, Hempstead Hispanic Civic Associates. Mr. Curtis Watts, 1 through the 1. Reginald Benjamin ABBA Leadership Center. And for anyone that we may have missed, please forgive us. Charge it to our head, not our heart. You are all special guests this evening, and we're so happy that you are here. Thank you.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, viewing guests alike, the introduction of our Mayor Waylyn Hobbs Jr. will be by the incomparable Dr. Cedric V. Easley, Executive Assistant to the Mayor.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. It is a great day in the village of Hempstead, and it gives me great joy and such pride tonight to have this opportunity and this moment to introduce the Honorable Mayor of the Incorporated Village of Hempstead, Mayor Waylyn Hobbs Jr. For the past 2 years, I've had the pleasure of working with him every day, watching him lead with heart and passion the Incorporated Village of Hempstead. I know, as I have watched him, that he is a man of faith, integrity, and wisdom. Mayor Hobbs is married to the lovely Donna Hobbs. He's a father of 3 and the grandfather of 3 grandchildren. Beyond being mayor, I want you to know tonight that he's a man that wears many hats. There's so many things that I could stand here and share about him tonight, but I want you to know that he is a man of faith, a clergyman. He is the pastor of the Coney Island Cathedral. He serves our community for many years as a firefighter, and he is currently studying mortuary science. Yes, on Sunday he lifts you up, and any other day he can let you down. One thing I know for sure is that Mayor Hobbs loves the Incorporated Village of Hempstead. For those of you who didn't hear me in the back, one thing for sure, he loves the Incorporated Village of Hempstead. He works tirelessly for the greater good of our community in spite of the challenges that we all face. Tonight, he will stand before us and give us his second State of the Village address. As he stands before us and gives us a blueprint of the future of the village of Hempstead, it gives me great pleasure and honor to introduce to some and present to others my boss and our mayor, Mayor Waylyn Hobbs Jr. Put your hands together and let us stand as we receive our mayor.
Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you, Dr. Easley.
Good evening and welcome. It is a great day in the village of Hempstead. Well, friends, it has been 728 days, 24 months, 7,532 hours since I've been elected as mayor of the village of Hempstead, Bahus County. Hempstead is home. It is a community of hardworking and loving people. From the hikes to the hills, from Peninsula Boulevard to Hempstead Turnpike, from the north and the south, from the east and the west, this village has so much potential, and this administration is working daily to restore Hempstead to the days when people came from far and near to shop, to dine, and be entertained right here in the village of Hempstead. I want you to know on this day that I must take time out to say thank you to our Deputy Mayor, Jeffrey Daniels, to our trustees, Burrow, Boone, and Griffith, because it is their eagerness to serve that makes this job easy. Because we know that one person cannot do it alone. And their eagerness to serve the community is obvious with the recent re-election of our Deputy Mayor Daniels and our trustee Burrows. Let's give them a hand. I also want to commend and thank my executive staff who continually operate professionally and in the spirit of excellence. I want to thank our supervisors, our superintendents, and all of our fantastic employees of the Village of Hempstead. I want you to know that I appreciate the work and the service that you provide to all of the residents of the Village of Hempstead. Can we give our employees a big hand? In the Village of Hempstead, we value and embrace diversity. And that diversity can be found throughout the village, in our hiring practice, in our police department, in the majority of our offices in the Village of Hempstead. You'll see the diversity that we have that represents the entire Hempstead community. I'm happy to announce that for the first time in the history of Hempstead, not only the appointment of the first woman, but a woman of color as the superintendent of Parks and Recreation, Yolanda Hutchison. Under her leadership, Parks and Recreation have come up with some exciting programs like line dancing, and I heard it was over 100 people that participated in the line dancing. Maybe the next time they have that course, I'm going to join up for it. I know how to do the electric slide. I didn't learn line dancing yet. I also want to thank the residents of the Village of Hempstead. Thank you for your engagement and your feedback. Your commitment to make our community better is obvious through your phone calls, your letters, and your emails, many times talking about the improvements that you see, and sometimes talking about where we can do better. But I want you to know that I appreciate you helping me to make Hempstead a better place. The job of mayor is an enjoyable one, yet demanding. Yes, it is a 24/7 job. But I must take this opportunity to thank my beautiful wife of 34 years, our First Lady, Donna Hobbs. Will you please stand? And my children. Without the support of my family, the love, and the prayers, I could not do this. And if I were to borrow the words of a song, I would dedicate this to my family. If anyone should ever write my life story, between each line of pain and glory, you're the best thing that ever happened to me. Can we give my family a hand? Tonight we're here at the great Sacred Heart Academy, where our young girls are educated and groomed to compete in a global market. Thank you, President Christian Lynch, Graham, and facility and staff for welcoming us here tonight. You have made this process go so smooth, and again, we want to thank you. Can we give Sacred Heart a hand? And I shared with the president that Sacred Heart, I'm a neighbor, we live right down the street, and so not only do I know the academics that the young ladies bring, but I see them running past my house every other day. So we're glad to be neighbors at Sacred Heart Academy. In the village of Hempstead, we have many schools and institutions of higher education. Last year's State of the Village Address was held at Hofstra University, and we have the president here today. Let's give her a hand. Each year, I want to present our State of the Village Address at different educational facilities throughout the village of Hempstead, because I want everyone to know that Hempstead has some tremendous opportunities of higher learning. And speaking of that, I have to say congratulations to the Hempstead Union Free School District for major improvements and accomplishments this year. Let's give them a hand. I believe in building and strengthening relationships. I'm a proud member of the U.S. Conference of Mayors, where I serve on the Mayor's Economic Mobility Committee. I'm also a member of the New York Conference of Mayors, where I serve on the Policy Committee. I'm also a member of the African American Mayors Association, where I serve on the Committee of Mayors Against Illegal Handguns. And the reason why I serve on all these committees, because I believe that partnership is important. I believe in working across the aisle, statewide, federally, nationally, and to all my government partners working closely with me, bringing vital resources to the village of Hempstead. I want to thank you. I recently met with our newly elected Congressman Anthony D'Esposito, and I look forward to working together closely with him. To our friends and representatives in Albany who have been amazing, I want to thank Senator Kevin Thomas. I want to thank Assemblywoman Taylor Darling for always fighting to get the necessary resources here in the village of Hempstead. With their help, we were able to receive funding for body-worn cameras for our police officers. We were able to purchase 2 new fire trucks, a community crisis intervention vehicle, and 2 fire chief cars, which we did not have to burden the taxpayers to get that, because our senator and assemblywoman made sure that we had the funding to provide the tools necessary to keep Hempstead safe. So can we give them another hand? I must thank our partners in Washington, Senator Chuck Schumer, and our former Congresswoman Kathleen Rice, for ensuring that Hempstead received the funds to complete some of the projects that you have witnessed throughout the village. Since being sworn in office, one of my priorities was to address the aging infrastructure here in the village of Hempstead. And I'm happy to announce that we have repaved 13 roads here in the village of Hempstead. And yes, I realize that we still have much more to go, but that's 13 more roads that have been repaved in over several years. And not just filling potholes, but resurfacing the whole road. And we have 13 more on schedule for this year. I'm happy to announce that we have invested $340,000 to repair our water main. We've also invested over $300,000 for sewer maintenance and repair. Through our community development agency and using our American Recovery Funds, we were able to help homeowners here in the village of Hempstead who had fallen behind in their taxes and their mortgage due to the pandemic. Many of them had lost their jobs or were no longer working, and we were able to take those funds and prevent people from losing their homes. Here in the village of Hempstead, we've recently increased our senior tax exemption. For the first time in the village of Hempstead, our senior tax exemption is now compared to the same exemption that Nassau County offers its seniors. I feel that as mayor, I can't let the county or anybody else do better for our residents than we do for them. And so we're happy to announce that increase. In the past 2 years, this administration has secured more funding than the village has received in several years. And for the past 12 years or more, many of you have heard about this downtown revitalization. I'm happy to announce tonight that by the end of next month, we have 3 projects that's going to be shovels in the ground. 3 development projects in our downtown area that's going to present job opportunities for our residents, going to present better living quality for our residents, and is also going to present to our residents community benefits that's going to be for Hempstead residents first. Oftentimes I say to people, when we talk about development and we talk about better for Hempstead, we have many people, some who are here now, that always talks about displacing people. But my question is, why can't better for Hempstead mean for Hempstead? Why can't we look for better and desire better? We deserve better. We have recently partnered with the Long Island Railroad to secure funding for what I like to call smart downtown. Downtown that is going to be pedestrian friendly by having bike lanes and also offering bikes that you can rent. When we look around the village of Hempstead, there are so many opportunities to explore the greatness that surrounds our community. Hempstead State Lake Park have just did some major improvements. You're talking about a beautiful scenic route, so why can't we at Hempstead share in that opportunity? And so, again, we're looking and working with our community development agency to make sure that we provide resources for the residents of the village of Hempstead by securing a $200,000 grant to start a workforce development program so that when we start building these apartments, that our community will be prepared to get those jobs. Again, we want to make sure that Hempstead is first, even when it comes to job opportunity. And so I believe that our community should be a thriving downtown, a place where visitors and friends could come and shop and be entertained and enjoy the diversity of our music, of our food, and of our culture. And I'm excited about some of the great things that's happening here in the village of Hempstead. And that's why this year, all of our summer concert series will be held in Denton Green Park, right across from Village Hall. And the reason for this is so that we can continue to get people to come to our downtown area and experience some of the shops and restaurants that we have in the village of Hempstead. Myself, when I go to lunch, I don't go outside the village of Hempstead. I eat and dine at our local restaurants, and sometimes they give me a mayor's discount, and sometimes they don't. But again, I enjoy taking advantage of what we have here in the village of Hempstead. Hempstead should be a place where people feel comfortable to live, play, and be entertained. And with that being said, I have to take this opportunity to thank our Assistant Chief of Police, Richard Holland, our Deputy Chief, Derek Warner. Will you stand? For their leadership in the Hempstead Police Department. And of course, I have to thank the men and women of the Hempstead Police Department that let us know every day that they take their call to duty seriously. And let's remember, residents, that these men and women put their life on the line daily so that we can be safe. Let's give our officers another hand. However, the most incredible tool in helping us fight crime is you, the residents of the village of Hempstead. We need you to let us know when you see something, say something. The police cannot do it by themselves. And I am grateful for all of our residents who have stepped up to the plate and refused to allow the 2% that don't want to do the right thing to make the rest of us miserable. No, it's time to turn the tables. Let's focus on those that are not about the quality of life in Hempstead, and let's target them, and I've shared this with the police department, let's target them, focus on them, so the rest of the residents can enjoy what Hempstead has to offer. I stand here today to report that crime is down in the village of Hempstead. Now, when we did our year-to-end report, when we looked at the numbers of last year, which was 2022, we're still in 2023, so we had to take the years of 2021 and compared it to the year of 2022. When we made that comparison, the total number of violent crime was down in the village of Hempstead by 31%. Now, numbers are good, but numbers change. And recently, we have experienced an uptick in gang activity. And so I want to share this with you. We need our state elected officials to revisit and fix the bail laws. Because you can applaud, absolutely. And I say it without hesitation. We implemented in the summertime a quality of life task force. We have officers who are assigned to the downtown area that focuses on the Long Island Railroad, that focuses on the bus station. Because when people go back and forth to work, the last thing they want to see is people loitering, sitting on the stairs, or even sleeping on the sidewalk. But the problem is, when our officers address it and they make arrests, these people are back on the street a week and sometime 2 weeks later. I think that it is important that if you commit a violent crime, especially with an illegal handgun, I shouldn't see you back on the street the next week. We have to address the issue that's hurting our community, because when people feel that they can get away with committing crimes, it is not a deterrent. Now we have an increase in larcenies in the village of Hempstead, and the reason why we have an increase is because we found out that many of our businesses in the village of Hempstead would not press charges when people shoplift. That was their policy. If someone shoplift, don't approach them. So I met with them along with our police, and I had to explain to them, So what you're actually doing is advertising not only in Hempstead, but throughout Nassau County, if you want to still come to Hempstead. So convincing them to change that policy and press charges, now we have sent a clear message to all our retail stores and people that shop there that we're not tolerating shoplifting in Hempstead, because when people go to spend their money, they want to be able to go and shop without being harassed by panhandlers and beggars. And let me share something with you too. I understand that policing our way out is not the answer. That's why recently, along with my community policing, we met with different agencies. We met with the Department of Social Services. We met with other agencies within the Village of Hempstead that provide counseling service, because most of the issues that we face is not just criminal, but we have people that have emotional issues. We have an undomiciled or homeless population that we have to deal with. And we found out in that meeting that the Department of Social Services are not able to give funding to undocumented residents. So we came up with a solution. If the Department of Social Services can't use funding for that, well, why don't you give funding to some of these nonprofit organizations that can address that issue? And so instead of trying to arrest a problem away, let's have a holistic approach when dealing with the issues that we face in the Village of Hempstead. Community engagement is one of the most important things that I emphasize to the men and women of our police department. And they have taken it to the next level. I am so proud of the community engagement that our PAL and our police department has been doing throughout the summertime, sponsoring block parties. They had a haunted house for Halloween that was awesome. It was just wonderful, and it was a little bit scary even for me. But we thank them. The men and women of the Hempstead Police Department gave out over 2,500 toys in their Christmas caravan. Because we want our young people to see our police officers as friends, someone that you can go to in the time of trouble, and the police officers have always been working to continue to develop that community relationship, and I want them to know that I am so proud of the hard work that you do. Can we give them another hand? Here in the Village of Hempstead, we have updated our social media and our website. I'm happy to announce that we will be broadcasting real soon all of our board meetings and things that happen in the Village of Hempstead on our cable channel 18. And so now, those of you that might not have computers to see it on Facebook, you can now turn on your TV and watch the board meetings, because I believe that it's important that we get this information out to the residents of the Village of Hempstead. We are always trying to improve ways that we can continue to engage our community in a productive way. That's why tonight I want to encourage you, please download the My Village app. The My Village app is an app that you can use to report streetlight outages, potholes, whatever conditions that you see. And when you report it on the My Village app, you get a ticket. And that way, you have a number that you can call back and say, well, it's been 2 days. I want to know what happened to that street light. You give them that number, and they can give you an update. So please make sure you download the My Village app. Well, listen, Hempstead, as I get ready to close, I know that it's been a long time coming, but I'm happy to announce a change has finally come to the Village of Hempstead. And I realize that when we talk about change, change can be sometimes intimidating to people. But the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over, looking for a different result. For far too long in the village of Hempstead, the village of Hempstead has budgeted based on its fund balance. And I equate that to, let's put it this way. If you have a checking account and a savings account, and taking money from your savings account because there's a shortfall in your checking account, well, eventually, you won't have any money left in the savings account. So that means that we have to think outside of the box because we can no longer continue to go into our fund balance to balance a budget. It just doesn't work that way. That's why one of the things that we recently implemented is putting together a city charter commission. And the reason why we put a city charter commission together is so that we can look at the pros and cons of if the village became a city. When we look at 2016 through 2020, the village of Hempstead received $150,000 in tax revenue. When we look at the city of Glen Cove and the city of Long Beach, received between $1.4 million and $2 million. And they have 30,000 less residents than us in the village of Hempstead. So when you look at it, it just doesn't pan out. When you talk about a city, many people say, oh, he's trying to make Hempstead look like Queens, look like Brooklyn. When we look at the city of Glen Cove, when we look at the city of Long Beach, it still has that suburban look, but they get the benefits of getting more tax revenues, and they get the benefit of getting more federal funding. Do you not realize that thankfully, because of President Biden, if it wasn't for the fact that President Biden understood how important it is to make sure that villages get their funding directly and that it's not funneled through the county or through the town, we wouldn't have received $16.5 million in American Recovery Fund that didn't have to go through the county, but it came directly to the village. If we didn't have that access to that money, we would have to depend on the county and the town to give us pieces of it. Hempstead, no more pieces of the pie. Give us the whole pie and let us divide it. I believe that if Hempstead receives its fair share in funding and tax revenue, then we can operate with a stable budget. Do you not realize that every single year when we do our budget, and let me say this while I'm talking about realizing as we do our budget, there are so many people that inspire to stand where I'm standing. I want you to know it's not as easy as you think. I've heard people talk about, if I was mayor, I'll fix every street in Hempstead. Well, you're going to have to find the money to fix every street in Hempstead. One of the issues that we've had when it comes to budgeting, every year when we set our budget based on our real estate taxes, people appeal their taxes. You know, some people hire, Maiden Bound or whoever you might use, and we lose millions of dollars based on people challenging their taxes. Why? It's because it's been too many years since Hempstead has had a fair look at our tax base. It's not fair that residential homes, in some cases, is paying more taxes than some of our commercial. So what we need to do is have a fair assessment of our taxes so that when we set a budget, we don't have to worry about losing millions of dollars when people appeal our taxes. So again, we're looking for ways to think outside of the box, ways that are uncomfortable for some people, but ways that will make a difference for the village of Hempstead. I want you to know, Hempstead, We can do this together. As I said before, I cannot do it by myself. I welcome every email I get. I welcome every telephone call I get, whether it's for me or against me. If you can help make Hempstead better, keep the calls coming. I welcome it every day. But what we must realize as a community is that it does not benefit anyone if you focus so much on your differences that we can't sit together on things that we agree that will move Hempstead in the right direction. I hear so many people talk about the negatives, talk about the problems, but never bring any solutions. We need you to do more than complain. Let's sit down at the table and come up with some solutions to make our village a better place. I want to say today that, again, we have to work together. Together, we can make Hempstead great. Together, we can restore Hempstead to its former days. Together, we can make Hempstead a place where people come from all over to shop and be entertained. I remember growing up in Hempstead when people came from Queens all over Long Island to come shop in our Main Street area. Well, guess what? We can go back to those days again if we come together as a community and do what's right for the village of Hempstead. Recently, we purchased a property on South Franklin Street and Graham, the old Hoagie House. Some Hempstead people might know the old Hoagie House. That was an abandoned building that was falling apart. We purchased that building, and we're in the process now of coming up with a solution that we can build not only a better firehouse, but a community center where we can engage our young people and give them an alternative instead of being in gangs. The problem with our community today is that too many of our government offices have taken away funding from youth programs. We need more money to go into youth programs that would get our young people off the street and get them back into books and get them back into arts and entertainment. So again, I thank you for electing me as your mayor. And I'm here to work with everybody. We have our school district here. We're willing to work with them. Again, we applaud the improvements that they made. But Hempstead, I can't do it by myself. I need you to be my partners to make Hempstead the community that it deserves to be. When I go to Washington, D.C. and talk with the president, I'm proud to let him know that I come from Hempstead. Why? Because when I go to the White House and talk to the president, I'm always greeted by Hempstead's own White House press secretary is from Hempstead. So we have so much to celebrate here in the village of Hempstead. And again, I want to thank our deputy mayor. I want to thank our board of trustees for working together with me. Someone once said to me, they said, one of the candidates when there was a race for trustees, not this race, but somebody said, well, I'm running for trustee because every time I go to a village meeting, all the trustees do is get along with the mayor. But what they don't understand is smart leadership, even when you don't see eye to eye, you sit down at the table and discuss that in private and come up with a solution in public. The days of showtime at the Apollo is over. That's what I call some of the board meetings that we experience in Hempstead. We've got to stop the nonsense because the world is looking at us, and we need the world to know that we are not people that fight one another, but we're people that join hands together and say, together we can make Hempstead a place of greatness. Thank you. God bless you. God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you.
What? Oh, so my wife wanted me to share this, and we just came back from a family reunion. Want to announce that it's April. When is the Mayor's Cup? The Mayor's Baseball Tournament. September? September. All right. So each September, we started the last year, so we're going to announce it now, that we have the Mayor's Softball Tournament, where all of our employees, our police department, DPW, sanitation, play softball for a trophy. Last year, our police department won it, where and I don't know, sanitation said they're going to take it this year. So I just wanted to announce that. Listen, most of the events that's happening in Hempstead, go to our website. We have some exciting things happening, but the boss told me to announce it, so I had to announce it. All right, get home safe. I'm sorry, they have a closing prayer.
Let us now prepare to receive our closing prayer. We shall have this presented to us by Bishop Philip E. Elliott, pastor at the Antioch Baptist Church.
Can we thank God for our mayor's accountability and stewardship? And the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. And the Lord lift up the light of his countenance upon you and grant you his shalom, peace. Amen.
Oh, please go in peace, and as you leave from this facility, please travel safely as you may make your way back to your homes and your abodes. God bless all, and God bless America.